Novel title, Hail the King. Chapter 9, The Enemies. One strike. Only one strike and a one-star warrior was decimated. Both the Chambord soldiers and the enemy were shocked. They all looked at that man as if he was a dragon in the human form. The sounds of weapons clashing and war cries resounding across the battlefield, a few minutes ago had abruptly stopped. The battlefield was completely quiet. The Chamadian soldiers and the enemies looked at each other, quickly realized that they were still in battle and went right back to killing each other. It actually worked. I'm so clever. Batman laughed ludicrously. In an area near the Chambord castle, half a mile away from the moat named Zuli, 100 black military tents were set up in a pattern that had completely blocked the only exit out of the castle. This was the base of the enemy army. The people of Chambord didn't know where these black armored enemies came from. 3 days ago, after the morning fog dispersed, a sentry was lucky enough to discover the fast-approaching enemies. He quickly barred the castle's gate and had bought some time for the defense of Chambord. There were about 2,000 soldiers in the invading army. After failing the sneak attack, they had camped beside the Zuli moat. The invaders had sieged the walls every day, as well as spreading a ton of scouts to cut communications between Chambord and the rest of the world. Today was the 4th day. This little castle has a complex terrain that could frustrate any invaders. If it wasn't for this dangerous moat and that firm defense wall, I would have already conquered this castle for father, and that Angela woman would have been my toy already. On the bank of the Zuli moat, a knight wearing a full suit of black armor with a silver mask grumbled. The silver mask had a ferocious demon carving on it, and only covered the top half of his face. He was on top of a pitch-black war horse, which was itself tall and sturdy, emanating the image of a majestic beast. The horse also wore a ferocious suit of armor, with only its legs and eyes exposed. An enigmatic force surrounded him, like a magnetic field. Behind him, 19 other knights stood in silence. They were all black-armored and on black horses too. They also wore the same devil-styled mask as well, but in black rather than silver. With the spiked armor on the horses, they looked like a platoon of devil knights from hell. This was actually unexpected. This kingdom is only a mere level 6 affiliate of a tiny level 1 empire, yet it has a moat with a fast current and a firm defense wall. It even has a 3-star warrior. A black knight behind the silver-masked knight said. He then dryly chuckled and reassured the silver-masked knight, "Don't worry, master. The defenders are at their breaking point, and surely can only hold 20 more minutes. After that, this castle will fall for sure. After we conquer this castle, let the soldiers loose, they can do anything they want. Except that Angela, there is no need for any others to survive." This cruel command was given so indifferently by this silver-masked knight, as if he was just mentioning the weather. Remember. Setting fire is prohibited. We need this castle. Yes. Master. All 19 black knights said in unison. They had already done this hundreds of times and it was no surprise to them. The black knight who just spoke said, "Master, their king. Just execute him. For the next 3 days, make all the females in the castle service the soldiers and kill them afterwards. We follow your commands." All the knights were excited, they loved these kinds of orders. Number 20 is almost finished, you men should get ready. The silver-masked knight waved at his subordinates, "When we gain control of and open the gate, all of you will rush in and finish off the enemies as soon as you can. I want to sit on the throne of their king in the shortest time possible." He didn't even finish his sentence before a huge noise came from the battlefield. It was as loud as thunder. All the knights were star-ranked warriors and, given their enhanced abilities, they saw clearly what had just happened on the defensive wall of Chambord. The black knights behind the silver-masked knight almost all lost it, oh god. This was, number 20, just chopped in half by an enemy. Shit. Did they have a war god? These black knights stared at each other, the shock showing in their eyes. They were all star-ranked warriors that were skilled at fighting, so they could see that the Iron Man that chopped 20 in half was only using brute force. There was no traces of energy in his attack. That was a scary thought for these knights, because 20 was already a 1-star warrior. "Master, allow me to chop the head off that bastard, to avenge 20. Some of the black knight was getting really nervous and impatient. Although the 20 of them didn't have names, and were only designated numbers, for the past 4 or 5 years, they had been under the command of the silver-masked knight together. They ate together and slept together, they were closer than any blood-related brothers. However, no one expected that 20 would die in this horrible way, especially in this seemingly easy siege. This had stimulated their anger for revenge. Is he just born with inhuman strength? The silver-masked knight smiled mysteriously. He waved back at the black knights and said, "Interesting, this man has intrigued me. Pass on my order to stop the siege. Tell the soldiers to back off for now." "Master, this. Are there any problems?" The silver-masked man responded coldly. "We follow your commands, Master. The information from our intelligence agency, Eagle, mentioned the king of this level 6 affiliated kingdom is a retard." Change of commands. Just surround the castle for now, send someone to ask for the surrender of the castle. If they do, the king, ministers, Angela and that Iron Man can survive, others still will be executed. The silver-masked knight said, his smile betrayed the cunning thoughts he was entertaining. "Yes, my master." The black knights turned around right away and had started executing the orders. "Come, take this brave soldier to the medic ward. Quickly." Of course, this Iron Man was Fei. Fei's axe was like the scythe of the Grim Reaper. It harvested the lives of all the enemy soldiers on the defensive walls near the ladders. None of the enemies could handle one single strike from Fei. After wiping out all of the enemies around Pierce, he turned and yelled. A couple soldiers hurried forward and carried the fainted Pierce off of the castle walls.